from YouTube. I'm going to do some audio checks, and we're just going to give some people a second to trickle in. So bear with me 1 second, guys. I am just going to make sure that this is working so we don't think that we're live. And really not. So bear with me 1 second here. Okay. Here we go. I'm just checking a couple things, making sure this audio comes through. Here we go. Okay, looks like we got 10 people in here. Nice. Welcome, everybody. Looks like we got the live chat going. People are going nuts. So I think we'll just kind of start things off here. And for the 9 people that are watching right now, it looks like we got about 16 maybe now. Anyways, thank you guys for being here tonight. We've got Marcos, Elizabeth, Norris, and Ray Wag that have been kind enough to join tonight. And I can't get over that killer set that Ray has. That thing's looking good.
Hey, man, I got lit up for you tonight.
Yeah, I love it, man. Love it. So in today's live stream, I think what we're going to do here is just kind of go over some 10 predictions for the whole cryptoverse in 2022. And we'll just kind of shed some light on things. And then at the end, we'll kind of go over some TA. I know that Norris is pretty good at TA. Ray, I believe you are as well. And we can just kind of shed some light on, what the heck is going on with this crazy market. And then also we have expert investor Elizabeth here, who has just got her finger on the pulse when it comes to crypto everything, it seems like. So she's kind enough to donate her time as well tonight, lend us some of her expertise. So I am going to go ahead here and bear with me 1 second, folks, because I am operating on one screen. I had my computer and my new set go down, so I placed an order for a new computer that's not going to be here till Tuesday, and I didn't want to lug my other computer and stuff basically across the whole house. So bear with me 1 second here. So can you guys see this Forbes article?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, I got it.
So bear with me 1 second. I'm just going to check something here. Just make sure everything's looking good. It's going to look a little weird here because I'm operating on this one screen right now. But Forbes wrote an article yesterday about 10 predictions for cryptocurrency in 2022. Crypto assets, DeFi, NFTs, you kind of get the picture. They're calling for a $100,000 Bitcoin in 2022. I like the optimism, but it's been kind of shaky the last few weeks, even going back months. So I'm hoping that we do get a bounce at least to 75,000, 80,000 in Bitcoin here over the next couple months. I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts on this? Whoops, bear with me 1 second. There we go. So I don't know who wants to start off. We'll put Marcos on the spot. How about that?
Yeah, right on, man. Thanks for having me on tonight. I think ultimately these price predictions in the future will be very common, right? And I think that we will have a day where, the Bitcoin prices go into, let's say, the high hundreds, high 200s, and retracements will literally be to the $125,000 level. And so those levels will feel now what 42,000 feels like, 36,000 feels like, and even fearing 29, 28 and what have you. I think it's very, very possible. The cryptocurrency is the mass adoption of cryptocurrency is slowly but surely taking off. So this $100,000 price prediction, thinking long term, is going to be very possible, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Anybody else have any comments on that as well?
I think
I'll chime in.
People. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I think a lot of people are trying to give price predictions, but honestly, nobody knows. I feel like this cycle is change from 2013 and 2017 is starting to feel a little bit different. And we could potentially get to 100,000, but I think we may get to 70, about the 75,000 range first and do a pullback, but we may see 100,000 later in this year.
Yeah, that would be so awesome. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
hey, I mean, and if you think about it, really, we're just doubling the market cap from where it's at almost right now. Just maybe just a little bit more. So I could totally see that. 100,000 seems far away, but yeah, it is an easy reach for the
So
most part.
what can you see for my screen? Do you see my chart?
Yeah, so I can pull your chart up here. Bear with me 1 second here. Let me know if you guys can see that. Hold on 1 second here. I am going to try to make this full screen. I don't know if I can do that. Bear with me 1 second. We can see it on our end.
Okay, I don't know. You mean for everybody else who's watching might not be able to see it?
There we go. Nope, everybody should be able to see it now. I think I got things fixed up here.
Okay, yeah. So for 100,000, and the way that I use these fibs, I'm on log scale, all log settings. So the way that I usually see this, I use these fibs because crypto moves to these fibs so well, and they can be extremely accurate. But basically, I have the zero. If you can see this, I have the zero, which is that 28,000 range in this summer. I have that as the zero on my fib. And then I had the high earlier this year in that 64,000 range. I just draw it off of that, setting the zero, setting the one. And this 1618 number, whether you're looking at local shorter term movements or these longer term movements, this number, this 1618, it hits it so often and so many times with so many different cryptos. It's a pretty accurate measurement. Now it has to get the momentum, and a lot of other things have to happen, but so many times you see one of these cryptos run up, hit its head as some resistance, come back down, and either find support on the 1414 or the 1272, and then come back up and try to break it, and then they can move on to those other levels. So that's what I have, and this 1618 is at 107,000, and that's off the 64,000 in April-ish and the 28,000 area this summer, and it's just drawn off that, and it's pretty simple that way, not too complicated. So that's my thoughts on 100,000, that it's a matter of time when you hold support and get that continuation up. It's a matter of time to go towards that and possibly see it as some resistance, but that you'll meet it. So that's my take on it.
Yeah, I like that. You know, the golden ratio is something that we really see price action kind of hit the nail on the head all the time at. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. I've played around with a little time sequence too, and hoping that maybe end of March might be a decent time for a run or something. I did notice too that there might be a little Elliott wave theory kind of moving its way up from summer lows, but yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what actually goes down here. But anybody else have anything to add on the 100K Bitcoin? I think we're getting a little bit of feedback, maybe from a speaker or something. Quite possibly. There we go. That sounds good. Thank you. And yeah, so I don't know. Anybody else have anything on the 100K Bitcoin?
Well, I think we're going to get there. I don't know if it's going to be this year or not. Just there's lots of different things going on with Fed policies and all these things about interest rates and all this kind of stuff. But man, the adoption there's just mass adoption. This is the big money is piling in. So I want to be in before the big money's in. I think it's going up. I don't know if it'll be this year or not, just because different policies and things. But I think there's a good chance, and I think I think what you guys said, I totally agree with. But with just this mass adoption, man, it's got to go up. It's got to go high.
I'm just like, I just keep thinking like everybody knows like the GameStop short squeeze that happened and stuff like that. Like, okay, are we just kind of waiting? Is everybody kind of just waiting for this blow off top to create some bag holders or something, or what's going on? But yeah, it's going to be interesting really quick, I think. Elizabeth, you got anything on this?
Oh, that's what I was saying just earlier about the price hitting 100,000. I think it's going to be later. I don't know about this year, but I know it's going to be later. And mass adoption is happening every day.
Yeah, for sure. I think like some of these price tags, $200,000-$300,000 Bitcoin in the next, 2 to 5 years. I mean, I think it'll totally hit that, no problem at all. But so let's kind of tap into Ethereum now. I like Ethereum. I like everything it does. I like doing the whole NFT thing on OpenSea, but it is, we are suffering with some gas fees, and I'm getting some more feedback here from a speaker somewhere. I'm not sure what's going on there, but anyways, so we are dealing with all these gas fees that are in the hundreds and hundreds of dollars in some cases, just to even send a free NFT in some cases. And so, this has been a problem for ETH, and I know that they have kind of promised a lot of fixes in the past, but they just haven't quite delivered on it. The last time I bought ETH was at 1,000, and I currently don't hold any now. So I don't know, you guys. What do you think? Are they going to follow through on this, upgrading to ETH 2.0, or what's going on there?
I'm really curious to see how successful it's going to be. I think that all of these technologies are really pushing to do what they say they're going to do, but we don't know how successful it's going to be on the first pass. I think we're still going to see probably a $10,000 to $15,000 Ethereum. Will it be this year? Will it be later this year? That remains to be seen. And I picked up a lot of ETH back during the C19 crash at $90.
Oh, nice. Wicked. Yeah, I feel like I need to start hanging around you a little bit more, Elizabeth. That's
you
awesome.
gotta dig and find those gems.
Yeah. So I don't know. What else do you guys think?
I missed ETH early on. I had shared that story of this last time I went live. A buddy of mine had mentioned ETH to me, and I wasn't feeling it back then. But as opposed to what price is now, I would have 10x my money easily. I do think that I read somewhere on Twitter that ETH won't do their upgrades in a bear market. So I think that might be maybe a little indicator as to when ETH starts releasing, or when they plan to do their upgrades. I think that'll be maybe like an indirect indicator as to the trends of the market. So I think it's very important to for us to look into what ETH is doing. But of course, I missed that train. But again, if ETH hits 15,000 plus, even now wouldn't be too bad of a time to get in. Dollar cost average.
Yeah, for sure. That's a good point you make too on the whole, when they'll implement ETH 2.0. Yeah, it's probably going to be during a bear market. They're not going to do it when, there's potential for it to rise and really screw investors out of making some obscene profits if Bitcoin just went crazy or something. So, yeah, that might be the cue to get in for sure.
Yeah, I still have Ethereum going much higher. What do you see on my screen right now? What are you seeing for mine?
So I can pull you up here. Let's see. I am seeing the Restream Studio. So
okay.
There you go.
Yeah, so I have Ethereum still going much higher. I don't think it's a bad time to enter into Ethereum by any means, but there could definitely be other opportunities that are better than Ethereum. with its market cap that's so large. But yeah, I see it going much higher to that $14,000-$15,000 range. To be honest, I only have one Ethereum, but it's better than nothing, I guess. So, and then I might be a little bit biased too, because I'm pretty big on Cardano. The Ethereum 2.0, I almost get the feeling, in a way, how the timetable has moved so much with them, and it's almost a feeling like with Ethereum, they've possibly bitten off more than they can chew, and it's going to take a long time to actually come out, and that's going to give Cardano and some of these other projects a lot of time to continue to gain ground on Ethereum in the market. So I see it that way, but I've listened to a lot of Charles Hoskinson, so I'm pretty big on Cardano. Did any of you happen to see that poll that Vitalik put up on Twitter?
I did.
Where he said in the poll, you wake up in the year is 2035, and it's not Ethereum. Which crypto would you pick all currency to be in? You guys see that poll?
I didn't see that. No.
I didn't see
Yeah,
it.
I think that was today. He posted that up, and he had 4 choices, and it was like Bitcoin, and there was a few choices, but Cardano was winning the poll. Cardano was at 41% out of the 4 choices, so it was kind of an interesting poll he put up today.
Yeah, Cardano. That one, I think there was a very high percentage, and even more so, I think Charles Hoskinson retweeted, taking a little jab at it, but there was a very high vote percentage for Cardano. Interesting.
Yep. And so some of this stuff to me is kind of hard to. Some of this to me is kind of hard to break down because I'm not a computer programmer at the end of the day for some of this stuff, but I've heard Charles talk about a lot of it. And as far as Ethereum, Charles was on BitBoy Crypto like a year ago, and he was saying on the show at the time that Ethereum in many ways is kind of built backwards, and it's going to have to do it's going to have sharding and some of these other techniques, and that some of these different techniques actually sacrifice security. And he kind of broke some of that stuff down, and it's really hard to digest it all when you're not a computer programmer. That's not what you do for a living. So it's really trying to digest some of these new technologies. It can be difficult.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, ETH 2.0, man. Hopefully it comes to, hopefully they get that fix and all that. So we'll just have to try to figure that out when the time comes. Ray, what you thinking about ETH 2.0?
I hope it comes. I hope it comes because I hate gas fees. That's the thing everyone hates about Ethereum, right? It's a lot of gas fees, but I think in general Ethereum, I still think it's going to go up. I think it's kind of like the story with Bitcoin. As far as my point of view is, I think money is coming into it. So I think even if it's not the best platform, I think it's going to go higher. But I prefer to buy things more, Binance and stuff like that. But we're right now it's Ethereum's game for the most part. So I think Ethereum does go higher, but there might be some better platforms that might be a little bit better. But as far as Ethereum 2.0, man, if that comes, I think that's a big push for Ethereum. I just want to see it,
Yeah, absolutely. I think everybody probably likes the tech behind it, the contracts and everything like that. And I would love to buy more NFTs and stuff like that on OpenSea as well. But I just refuse to burn that money. But I don't know. Anybody else got anything to add?
I think as far as Ethereum, I'm more excited about Polygon.
Polygon, okay, yeah, I hear you there. I'm not really up to speed too much on the Polygon project, but I do like certain things about it, and yeah, I think it's got some potential to go way high for sure.
Yeah, I like Polygon. I don't have any, and I don't think I'm gonna buy any. I had it, I had a good amount in the 30 cent range, and I knew I bought it for a reason, and I had it for a reason, and I got rid of it. And that was probably a mistake, but
Yeah, no, I hear you there. And like I said, I bought 200 Bitcoin back in the day, and man, I got rid of that stuff, and what a mistake that was. Because
Yeah, nobody's going
bought-
to take your internet money.
yeah, I bought that at 200, and then let's see, I bought 200 of it for $1,200, and then it was $6 a coin, and then I sold it back to the market for like $7 a coin. So I think I made like $200 on it, and I probably bought like pizza and beer with it. Oh man, I wish the younger me
86. I
would.
put that Vitalik tweet on there for you if you want to.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, briefly if you want to share it.
Thanks,
there.
man.
No problem.
Okay, I'm gonna let's just check this out because this is kind of crazy. Poll for Ethereum community. Wake up in 2035 and 80% of all the transactions plus savings in the world are in one cryptocurrency that is not ETH. Which one would you prefer it be? I don't see CKB on there, but it looks like ADA is the golden ticket, man. Bitcoin, some Bitcoin maxis in there, Solana, which I'm surprised to see Solana that high. I mean, they're a good chain and stuff, but especially after that whole crash that they had, and it just kind of really kind of put a bad stain
and
on their
if you look below that too, I believe there's like a second piece to the poll where there's more coins.
Okay, yep. Interesting.
He still isn't listed.
What's that, Elizabeth?
I said, and CKB still is not listed in the
I know.
but Tron is there.
So anybody holding any Tron in here?
Nope.
I didn't think so. But I have owned it, so. All right, let's get on to the next thing, folks. Web3, what are you guys thinking about Web3? Bear with me 1 second here. I am going to go ahead and show my other screen. Can you guys see this, Forbes? I do apologize for bouncing in between all these wacky screens and stuff. I'm waiting on my other computer to come in. Can you guys see this article?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So Web3 infrastructure paves the way for the decentralization of the internet. Now, I like this. One project that I've been kind of focused on, kind of DCAing into, has been Coin. And that is kind of like a data storage blockchain, kind of similar to CKB in a way, where the actual token represents storage. And there is a decentralized internet called Skynet that they're building on Coin. Of course, there's nothing operational that I'm aware of right now, but I've got a crypto miner mining Coin. So I know Marcos has a couple of crypto miners somewhere mining his Coin. But what are you guys' thoughts on Web3? I know a lot of people are thinking, okay, Web3 scary. They think of like the Silk Road and stuff like that, and it's just like, okay, but all that bad stuff still exists even on the dark web, which is somewhat centralized, and even on the regular web, which is even more centralized. So I mean, I don't think a Web3 is going to get too much crazier than what we're really playing around with right now.
Yeah, I don't really have a whole lot to say about Web3 besides, I mean, I'm pro anything that's decentralization. So that's my basic take on it.
I know for Infinity, it's been in the in the chats with everybody that once it got listed on Coinbase, it just kind of dumped. It was supposed to be the next evolution for Web3.
Interesting.
ICP. It's ICP.
Yeah, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
You said that was Comcast.
No, it was called Infinity.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm thinking like Comcast Xfinity. I'm just going, okay. I'm putting like the internet together with that, and I'm going, okay. I know they're probably one of the worst customer service companies in America, at least. So it wouldn't surprise me if they're going to try to get into Web3. So, but what are you guys' other thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think Web3 I think it's going to play a very important role in just. I think it's going to sneak its way in along with mass adoption. I'm reading a portion of the article. It says cryptocurrencies are particularly important in this context because they can provide a sustainable system that encourages network users to provide the required infrastructure over the long term. Now, speaking of Siacoin, they're building a cloud storage, right? And when you read the tech behind it, uh, I get like this very cryptic vibes from Siacoin that they know something that we don't, right? Like they might have a bigger role than what we think they might have. And of course, I follow their head developer on Twitter, and I listen to a lot of the stuff he posts. And his tech is on another level, of course. But I think that we'll see within time um, a lot of blockchains that are revolving around the Web3 usage. And I actually had a chat with a buddy of mine who jumped in early on a lot of the current projects that are running now. And he told me, dude, you need to look into gaming and anything Web 3.0 for your next 2 to 3 years in terms of your investment. So that might be something to look at.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
absolutely.
the evolution of it is, because we had what was it, dial-up, and you have mail. It was just like the internet was more like you had mail, and now you see the evolution of everything it can do, and with VR and AR and all that tech, you're going to see a more developed internet for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I totally agree with that. Definitely. What are some of your Web3 I don't mean to put you on the spot here, Elizabeth, but what's your favorite Web3 project?
I have a ton of Filecoin that I picked up under $8.
Nice. Like I said, folks, she's got her finger on the pulse when it comes to this stuff, that's for sure.
You mentioned Filecoin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Filecoin. I've been actually pushing that one lately. I've been putting it in videos, and I was pushing it a little bit on Twitter. Yeah, I just got some. I mean, I got it a little higher than you. I got it just at 28 the other day, but
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't believe how low that Filecoin came down, and it really reminded me of what Elron had done in the past. Elron was well over 200. It went to around 65 in June and July, and then it went back over $500 a piece as far as price action. So I've been getting the similar feeling with Filecoin that Elron did, and I knew that, and I saw Elron at between $65 and $80 in June and July, and I had that feeling, but I didn't bounce, I didn't jump on the Elron during the summer, and that happened. I think that was sort of a mistake, and so I was looking at Filecoin. I've had Filecoin before, got rid of it, but then I saw it at that 28, and I picked some up at that price. Sure, it could go a little lower, but 28 seemed like a decent price. But yeah, I see Filecoin going much, much, much higher.
And see,
Nice.
I picked up Elron between $38 and $62, and everyone was saying it's too high. It's too high to buy it at that price. But I only bought like 30 of them and just held on to them and started scaling out at about $300
Nice.
Nice.
to buy more CKB.
Nice. I like it. Yeah. I like it. What are you thinking, Ray?
Yeah, I think Filecoin, I think is really, I have some Filecoin, but honestly, I'm down. but I think the project's a great project. I think the idea behind it, which is, where a lot of this stuff is I think it's great, decentralizing all this stuff. I think I don't know. I'm bullish on Filecoin even though I'm down. So
Right.
hopefully something like that will come back. I think something like that. I think Web3, like you guys were saying, I think it's it's just everything's just progressing, going one step farther, and so I think it's coming. And I think I think places like Filecoin, I think it's a good place to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's definitely a good project. I'm not holding any, but the way you guys are talking about it, I might have to fire up the good old crypto app and buy some after this live stream. So I don't know. Does anybody else have anything else to add on Web3?
I was just gonna say my second biggest bag is Ocean Protocol.
Ocean. Yep. Nice.
It's
Yeah.
still sub $1.
Oh, it is. Okay. So I haven't played around with Ocean for a little bit. It's probably been a few months since I've held a bag of that. But yeah, no, definitely. Web3 is going to be interesting to see who kind of becomes the king of Web3 and all that. So we'll have to see. But the next thing, more legal clarity through regulation and prohibitions. Now, this kind of strikes a chord, especially when we look back at 2021. We saw China banning Bitcoin mining, and then we saw other countries, excuse me, like El Salvador, which basically adopted Bitcoin as their official cryptocurrency. So I'm trying to think here. Are these countries that are crypto friendly really going to come out ahead in the long term? And I think that they are. So I don't know what your guys' thoughts on crypto regulation and prohibitions, but I think we're going to see like a lot of safe haven countries for crypto enthusiasts. And I think we're going to see those countries absolutely thrive, 5, 10, 20 years down the line. As long as this whole movement doesn't go to absolute, dust. So I don't know. What are you guys' thoughts on the whole regulation, especially here in the U.S.?
I think XRP. Not even looking too far. XRP. I think any blockchain or any cryptocurrency that is involved in any type of legal or regulations and whatnot, we've got to pay close attention to. Now, for the time being in the United States, I haven't heard too many regulatory issues regarding that. I know that cryptocurrency has been the topic, um, with congressmen and senators, but I think it's very important to pay attention to the regulations globally and just kind of go from there.
Nice. Yeah, agreed. I'm still getting a little bit of feedback here from the mics. So if you guys aren't talking, if I could just have you guys just kind of mute the mic, that'd be great. Try to cut out some of the feedback that's going on. I'm not sure. Cell phones do crazy stuff when they're in your pocket and messing around with mics and stuff like that. But yeah, what are you guys' thoughts on the whole regulation and stuff like that?
I think that the United States, they're not the regulations. They're not going to be able to do too many regulations because the rest of the world is so in agreement with crypto for the most part, like Japan and United Kingdom and some of these other places. In the United States, to not get left behind and not, I mean, you have the SEC case with Ripple, but besides that, to stay in line with the rest of the world in this crypto movement, I think they're going to have to kind of keep the regulations down on crypto.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. And it's interesting, with the whole Ripple situation. I feel like even if you're not like a fan of Ripple or whatnot, like we all have to kind of band together and support them whatever way we can, just to fend off the SEC, which I think is like one of the most crooked governmental organizations that probably exists next to like the IRS or something.
Right.
Just
And I
saying
don't
that.
really, yeah, I don't really like going down like the conspiracy type rabbit hole on it, but it does seem that with the Ripple case versus the SEC, that that it's a little bit shady, and the video that's out there in the past on these speeches they gave, that you know they weren't speaking for the SEC, they were just their personal opinions, etc. I don't believe that is the case, and that they were speaking for the SEC. So some of it does seem a little bit shady, the case as a whole. And then I might be a little bit biased, that is my favorite coin, so I might be a little bit biased, but
I think we agree with. I think everybody agrees with you there. Like they're doing something shady for sure behind the scenes, loading up on the dips when they can create them, right?
And I still think that XRP is still going full force in other countries. It's just that in the US, it's kind of halted, but everywhere else is still moving ahead, and the infrastructure is being built.
Yeah.
yep. And they have the networking effect that they've been building for 7-8 years. Is
Mhm.
that's what a lot of people say, is that it's going to be hard for, say, there's a new token, a new crypto that comes out now that can do this a little bit faster, and it can do a variety of different things, maybe a little bit better than XRP. Well, Ripple is a pretty big company, and they have their different locations around the world. They got, like, they're in Dubai, they're in San Francisco, but the networking effect and the banks and the who has already trialed it and worked with it is sort of where it has a major advantage, and it's still in the top 10 after all of this. So that's the way I see it, and for XRP. So
Yeah. Do you want to pull up XRP on your charts?
yeah, I
Just
can
take
do
a
that.
peek at it. With me 1 second here. See what we got going here. There we go.
So
There we
you
go.
have my you're looking at my chart.
Oh yeah, yeah. Looks like we had a
So
nice little symmetrical
one
triangle.
so one thing that I'd like to, and this, I think I drew this out on the weekly, so it might look maybe a little choppy on the daily. I don't know, but I think that there's a lot going on with XRP overall, and it could end up a similar situation to something like Shiba, because it was pretty high in the past. It's high as 384 or 350, depending on $3.50, depending on what exchange you're looking at. But you have it pretty high in the past. It comes back down, and it goes down to 20 cents or lower, and it sits low for so long, and then it starts to ratchet back up. And sort of the same thing with Shiba. Earlier this year it was super high, and then all summer it's just flat, and everybody says it's dead. It was a meme token, it's this, it's that, and there was all this talk about it. And then August and September rolls around, and Shiba ended up being I think it was the best performing crypto in the market as far as price action. So XRP could be in for something like that longer term. Something else that's pretty interesting, I was going to throw into a video. I'm pretty big on, so if I open up this Pi Cycle Top indicator, I don't know if you guys mess with this at all or not.
Mm-hmm.
But this Pi Cycle Top indicator, for Bitcoin and for XRP, any coin that has longevity to it, it's been accurate as far as calling that top range. And so we have here, I have mine set so that it prints an X, and so it printed an X at one point here at that top, and it's basically the 111 moving average crossing over the 350 moving average, but it's a special moving average. But anyways, if you come to what we have going on currently, and I zoom back in here, we have this yellow line way down here, and we have this green line up here. And so the thought is when the market heats back up, and you start to get that price action again back to the upside later, these lines will turn up. But what ends up happening when XRP really explodes, these lines can kind of go vertical. But until that yellow line comes up and crosses that green line, it would mark the cycle top. This is lagging a little bit. I don't know how you guys are seeing it, but yeah, eventually it would come up and cross that, and it prints this X on the chart. And this indicator has been nearly perfect on Bitcoin for Bitcoin's history, where this yellow line comes over the green line and it prints this X on the chart. So it's pretty interesting. But if I remove all drawings, XRP has a lot going on that's pretty interesting to me. I mean, it has, one of the biggest cup and handles out there, possibly, that it could form when it comes back up. And this just sort of reminds me of like the Shiba chart and how it shot so high, because you have this massive this cup and handle that's 4.5 years old, so and then you have the lawsuit, which would aid in it exploding if just with FOMO, etc., and the lawsuit. And even without the lawsuit, I still see this thing doing pretty well. So like, that's my take on XRP on the chart.
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody else got anything to add to that?
For me, I've stayed out of XRP just because I thought that, well, there's some other places I could be without, worrying about the SEC issues and all that. But I don't know, man. You're starting to sell me on it because of the other line.
Yeah,
I'll have to FOMO in.
Yeah, it is my number one holding. I mean, I think 77 cents is pretty good. I mean, I don't know if you can still see my screen or not.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because just back in April and May, when Bitcoin was going to that 64, we had around, we were in the 190 range, we were in the 160 range, and a lot of people didn't think that it was even going to go back below $1. And then it did, and it's at 77 cents now. And at some point, I really believe that this thing's going to run like crazy. And I think that it's one of those counterintuitive things, kind of like Shiba. It's a weird comparison. It's kind of maybe a weird comparison, but because the coins are so much different technology-wise, but
They're
the same thing where it's go ahead.
They're different, but the community behind Shiba and the community behind XRP are both extremely strong.
Yep.
In crypto, community I would say is more important to watch, to see the interaction of the community, to see what direction a project is going to be able to take.
Yep.
So it's not really a weird comparison when you look at it in that regard.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm pretty serious about XRP. I mean, I have like 25 different cryptos, but XRP is my number one holding. There's a lot of other coins I like too, but my thought also is even if somehow, some way they lost the case, which I don't see happening, I think that it would take a hit, but then later it would still make a return. The company has that networking effect, and to really follow the rabbit hole, there's some other influencers out there, some other channels that they have hundreds of videos on all the banks, all the banks that have been testing it, all the banks that are have been trialing it, and the banks that are looking at it around the world. And the rabbit hole is pretty crazy. So I mean, that's why I'm big on it. I know there's people out there that maybe don't like XRP, but that's my take on it. And so even if somehow they lost the case, I see it, taking a hit and going down lower, but then eventually still making that comeback and still making a run regardless. And so even without a settlement, though, I still see it. It's going to move. I believe it'll definitely move with the rest of the crypto market, and we're just kind of waiting on Bitcoin and Ethereum to move, because not much moves without those. But we're just kind of waiting, and even if this lawsuit drags out for another year, if Bitcoin makes that run to 100,000 and the rest of the market starts running and that the bull run really gets going, XRP is going with it for sure. And then it has all these cup and handles all over the place, and it has a huge following, and the technology is pretty good. So that's my thought on it.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting either way to see how this thing shakes out. Because man, I think a lot of people like it, and like that, just that case that you presented, where let's just say they win that case, and hopefully they do. There might be a good shot that thing shoots up like crazy. So that'll be
Yeah,
interesting to see.
there's actually a good chance that if there's enough time, I don't know how it's going to shake out because I don't like to chase stuff or FOMO in, but I would say if the case is over all of a sudden, or they say it settles, there are a number of coins that, like in my wallet, I will transfer right into XRP right on the spot, because I think that it'll run up. So that's another possibility that I might do. So
Yeah, absolutely. I tell you what, at this time, so we got about 12 minutes left. I wanted to kind of talk to Elizabeth. Bear with me 1 second here. I'm going to try to get everybody. I'm going to try to undo this here. Bear with me 1 second, guys. There we go. I wanted to talk to Elizabeth. So, Elizabeth has been trickling into the chats now for a long time. And it's like, she'll be like, check this coin out, check that coin out. And then it's like a week later, it's like a damn gold mine. I know Crypto Airborne, who couldn't join us tonight, took a play that she recommended a week ago and made some dang good money off it. But I do know that Elizabeth is kind of like a coach for crypto, right, Elizabeth?
Correct. For a company called Dark Horse Coins, and we have a lot of the members on right now.
Oh, nice. Awesome.
In the chat.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, so if you're interested, folks, in Dark Horse Coin, hit up Elizabeth. I'll throw some information in the description as well, so you guys can get with that. So that's definitely. I'm interested. I'm interested in, in your methods, Elizabeth.
A lot of what I like to do is just. How many of y'all saw the movie Wall Street?
Was it The Wolf on Wall Street or just Wall Street?
No, Wall Street with Gordon Gekko and Bud Fox, an old movie.
Haven't seen it.
It's an old movie with Michael Douglas playing the lead, and he was Gordon Gekko, the original. And I was early on, I was in college back then, and one of the things that always stood out to me was you go out and find the information. Anybody can look at the technicals, anybody can run a chart, but you want the information. So I've never forgotten that. And 28 years in the banking business for myself, I'm always looking at the connections. So I look in the crypto world, the two biggest connectors in great projects has been Jim Breyer and Andreessen Horowitz. So I kind of look toward what they're investing in, what they're champion, and that's the quiet side of it. Nobody's looking at that. Nobody sees that connection. One of the other coins kind of fell into was Oasis Rose coin. If you take a look at that, I'm still way up. So you want to, I like to dig for the unusual due diligence and see the connections before other people are looking at that. Because by the time everybody's talking about Cardano, I loaded Cardano between 0.007 and 6 cents. So now everybody's talking about it and it's running up. I'm cashing out. I'm not greedy. Nice. I'm cashing out and buying the next thing that hasn't run. And I'm okay with that. I don't have to sit and hold and wait for it to take and run to $20, $50 or whatever, because now it's giving me the opportunity to get 2 million of this coin, 1 million of the other coin, or what have you. And then that way, when those run, you take and just flip them.
Yeah,
right.
That's the way to do it. I mean,
so off what you just said there about Cardano and getting it so low, are you very familiar with Casper?
I heard of Casper, not really familiar with it.
Okay, yeah, that's just a coin that's given me a similar feeling to
Mm-hmm.
Cardano at a price that low. Maybe not the 0.006 cents, but in that range. Casper,
Mm-hmm.
created by some of the original members of Ethereum. It's a
Mm-hmm.
layer one, but they're kind of calling it. It's like an Ethereum 3.0. Kevin Cage, he's the one that turned me on to Casper. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him or not, but
I'll take a
he
look at it.
Kevin Cage, he pushes. He's got to be maybe the number one XRP guy. I don't know, but he pushes Casper, and he put me onto it, and I was kind of watching it there. But Casper's one that reminds me of one like Cardano, that it's that low range now. It's in that low price range now, and then later it's in the dollars. So it's at 12 cents right now. So
I definitely will take a look at it. And
it's interesting. Yep.
I started watching Six Fig because when I saw a video on Kevin Wang talking about CKB, it was before it was on any platforms in the USA. It was before Binance, it was before any of the other listings. And so I just started watching it, and it was 0.002 when I found out about it. And then I found out it was coming on Voyager in February, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" So that's I jumped on CKB at 0.007 when it listed, but I try to find great projects before they're out. That's what we do in Dark Horse Coins. We vet coins that no one's talking about, and we're being contrarian by it and being able to load up big bags before people talk about them.
Yep.
That's awesome. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, that's a great group. So yeah, check them out. So let's get into a little bit of TA. I know I want to respect everybody's time. We got 6 minutes before this thing ends. So we got Packable in here requesting a little TA on BTT and Storm X. I don't know, Norris, did you want to fire up the good old charts again? Tackle a couple.
I could. I mean, I haven't looked at BTT in a while.
Okay. Yeah. How about this? I'll throw up some. I'll do up some TA here.
Yeah,
Feel
if
like
you
I
want to
gotta.
do BTT, I do have one thing that we could possibly close the video out with. I got something that's pretty bullish for the market overall, I think. So
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I like that. Here, I was looking at Coinbase earlier on, and I was trying to figure out if I'm going to short Coinbase, but I'm kind of like, is this a falling wedge? And is this a symmetrical triangle that's going to fall lower just for a short term play? But I won't bore you people with that. So let's look at BTT. We're here to talk the crypto market and not the stock market. Although I do like playing the stock market, guys. I'm just saying, if you want more TA on the stock market on my channel, I'll bring it. So here's the last time. I don't remember. It was probably the last live stream we did last week that we were kind of discussing BTT for Packable, and I had kind of thrown up a Gartley pattern here, and it checked out. I mean, a lot of these pinpoints here in these measurements were close, but there was just not quite that smoking gun, or that's that cigar that we wanted. But we can see that if I get rid of this, we can see that price ran right down to kind of where we thought it would. But now we have a Fibonacci time sequence on January 25th, 6 p.m. Central Time, give or take 6 hours. And we do have somewhat of a descending triangle that has formed on at least this 4-hour chart or daily chart, dating all the way back to April. So, I mean, we're really riding up in 8-9 months of a descending triangle style pattern with this time sequence rolling up on January 25th ish, somewhere in there. When we look at previous Fibonacci time sequence just off this swing high to this swing low, we can see that it's been pretty pretty accurate at predicting reversal points. You can see that it predicted, even though these are very small reversal points, sometimes they're bigger than others. And you can see that price started coming up here, reversal point to the downside. Price started coming down here, reversal point to the upside. It even predicted this little dip reversal in here. So I think this, when we start talking Fibonacci time sequence, it's just such an extraordinary thing. Predicted that this thing was about to swing here. So I think that given the previous track record of this Fibonacci time sequence and the fact that we are really riding down on this descending triangle, gives me a lot of hope that, okay, maybe January 25th, 6th, somewhere in there might be a decent day, hopefully, to see BTT do one of these things. I do think that if we see BTT kind of rip, I'm hoping that this thing's going to go to the upside. I'm hoping maybe we could see this thing come up to maybe a half a cent somewhere in there. The 127 is a nice reversal point, 161.8. So I'd like to see it hit a half a cent. I don't know if you guys had anything else on BTT or anything to offer about this chart, but that's kind of what I'm seeing right now is just this bullish Gartley that has formed. Bear with me 1 second. I'm trying to bring it back up. But we kind of had this bullish Gartley that is kind of formed, and here we are. So it is what it is. I don't know, Ray. I know you do some TA, don't you?
Yeah, I do a little bit. Yeah, I mean, so for me, the idea is to try to look at what things are going to interest you, and then kind of do a little bit of TA to kind of look for your entries and exits. I swing trade, so
nice.
A little bit with the stock market and stuff. So yes, probably not as into it, but yeah, I always look at the chart.
Yeah,
always watching the charts.
I hear you, man. I hear you. What are your thoughts on this, Norris?
Yeah, so on BTT, I pulled it up, and it looks like I drew in a triangle a while back, and it fell out of the triangle that was drawn in, and it's looking to do some sort of double bottom, just like the rest of the market, and then trying to find some upside at some point. And I don't know that many coins are going to move without Bitcoin or Ethereum moving anyways. But I mean, I would. Not financial advice, but I would call it a great time to buy it. I mean, it's trying to do a double bottom. The market's trying to find its bottom with Bitcoin at like 40K, and it already rolled out of this horizontal, and it's been trying to find its bottom. So it's just like a good DCA spot. That's all I really see with BTT. Not much else to say, really.
I think the long-term hold, I know that they're doing a lot of things in cloud storage, and I can't remember the amount of users that they have on their platform, but they're really getting ingrained in the cloud storage. And a lot of people don't like Justin Sun, who is the owner or whatever, but I think in the long run, as long as it's been around, it's going to make a move. I hold a few million of them.
Nice. Yeah, I'm gonna have to be your like long lost grandson or something.
Marcus, meet you.
Your nephew,
So I've got something I can maybe not the last note on the stream, but I've got something that I was kind of looking at on Glassnode that I can show here.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're still looking at my screen or not.
Yep, I got you pulled up.
Okay, so something that I was sort of noticing here, this is the MVRV Z-score, and it's basically it's whether Bitcoin is overvalued or undervalued relative to its fair value. And so it's just that, but in a chart form, and you have this red area and you have this green area, and the red area is sort of a top of the market, and the green is like the bottom, and the white line here is the price of Bitcoin. So what's interesting to me is that this top here, where my cursor is, if you can see my cursor, this here is like December 2017 here, and you can see not only did you go into the red range, you went way past it. This orange goes through the red, it goes way past it, and it is marking that was the top of that last bull run there. And so that's how high the orange comes here. So fast forward here, what's interesting about this chart here, and this is something that that Dylan LeClaire looks at a lot from Bitcoin Magazine. And so here in February 2021, when the orange is in the red area here, Bitcoin was at $55,000. And you come back down here, and where we are at currently right now for the MVRV score down here, it is as of January 8th, it is 1.37 at the price of 41,000. This is the interesting part right here is this little peak right here is that 69,000. If I can get my cursor right on it, this little peak right here is that 69,000 that we got in October. And it's this low down here. And now the MVRV score has headed back down, and it is obviously much closer to the green than the red. And we are still sitting here at 41,000. And you can see typically when you get towards this green down here, like somewhere in here, this green is, Bitcoin at $236 in 2015. And then it goes on this massive run. And you can see in here, this is Bitcoin at 4,000. So if it does happen to reach this green, it's shown to be, a great time to buy. But I think it is very interesting that 69,000 on this MVRV score, which again, this is if Bitcoin is overvalued or undervalued. This orange is nowhere near in the red or past the red at that 69,000. So just sort of an interesting thing. And I think it's just another bullish piece to the puzzle.
Yeah, that's crazy. I love looking at these charts like this that are just provide that different perspective versus like a traditional Bitcoin chart, things like that. And I'll show you guys something too, like on Bitcoin that I've kind of just been kind of talking about, and we'll go to the weekly for this. But for everybody here, I like the Ichimoku cloud trading. This is my jam. I like being able to see, when price action is far away from the cloud, I kind of know, okay, it's time to start buying puts on stuff or whatever. But interestingly enough, and I do try to mention this frequently, was that at least on the weekly chart, we can see that when price action came down to the 50 moving average and then slipped underneath the 50 moving average, it was, the gloves were off and Bitcoin slipped into a bear market. We can notice this just based off several other bull runs that Bitcoin's done. It's just this bounce off the 50 and then it's been over. Even this little mini 2019 run just slipped right into the bear. It's a super mini bear market, right? But the things that these incidents here have in common is that price action has always been underneath this Ichimoku cloud. And what I like about current price action is that Bitcoin has defied the odds. We have seen it come down, and instead of slipping, getting that one bounce out the 50 and slipping into the bear market, we have gotten the bounce once, not so much twice, but we have slipped underneath the 50, but we are still on top of the Ichimoku cloud. I do think that, with that said, okay, we might be seeing some, still a little bit of upside here possibly, but like I don't have my hopes up at this point. From what I'm seeing, it's kind of charting out a little rising wedge that might just strip this thing back down to the mid 20s. Something like that. So I'd be curious to see what you guys thought on that as well. But Bitcoin, it's had an incredible run from, 4,000, 3,900 or whatever it was, May 2020 or March 2020, excuse me, up to what, 70, 69, 70,000 and, a couple of years. Like that's a phenomenal run. And I don't think anybody could really be mad at that. So
Is it a possible head and shoulders there short term, depending on the
yeah, so I think you could make the argument that, hey, there might be a head and shoulders pattern here too, especially with this wick being here. We start throwing up some pins like this, or like this. I mean, yeah, you could definitely, excuse me, see where, that could be, the end of it too. So I'm really hoping that we get another move to the upside here, and I'll show you guys something. So it depends on what exchange that you guys look at, but from what I could tell, that this wick here did not come down
North,
lower than this wick here. It looks like it did on TradingView,
baby. Hello,
but from some of the exchanges that I've been kind of toying around with, it was like anywhere within a $200 to a $6 range. So I am kind of clinging to hope, like, okay, as a last resort, are we maybe going to see some sort of Elliott wave theory move to the upside of this channel? I don't know. I mean, it looks all janky on this chart, and it looks very close, but just depending on what exchange you look at, this 0.4 in Elliott wave theory was very close to dropping below 0.2. And for those of you that are not familiar with Elliott wave theory, 0.4 cannot drop lower than 0.2, just like 0.2 cannot drop lower than 0.0. You guys kind of get the drift. So I'm clinging to some Elliott wave theory hopium at this point. So I don't know, man. I don't know what you guys think about that, but it's crazy out there.
No, I'm with you. To be honest, I think the opposite. I don't think it's really hopium. I think that it's bears. It's bear hopium, if anything. I do see Bitcoin going to the upside at some point here and finding that bottom in that 40,000 range, and I believe there's a higher chance of that, and that the bears right now would need more hopium than bulls would, but that's just my take on it. And
Yeah,
I've covered that in some videos recently on my channel, but
nice. Yeah, I
that's
don't know
my
what
take on it.
what else are you guys thinking on this? What's Marcos thinking on this?
I give the benefit of the doubt when it comes to the content that I take in. So I try to listen to bearish sentiment as much as bullish sentiment. But I mean, I don't know if we get one last, one leg up and then go downside. I think it's very probable, and I'm not bringing a new concept on board, but very probable that if in case we do go bear, it's not going to be like previous bear market cycles where they're extended long and dry. I really think that maybe a slight repeat of what we experienced this past summer, right? Like after the April-May timeframe, moving
like
forward, and even some, like I said, as Bitcoin reaches these higher numbers and then eventually into six figures, the retracements itself and corrections itself will feel like bear markets at times.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I thought it was over. Especially after this April crash that we experienced. Here I am looking at all these single time bounces off the 50, and I thought it was over back in September, but it wasn't. So I just trying to think, did we lose somebody here? Oh, we got somebody here. We're gonna bring in one of the biggest troublemakers of crypto Airborne, who's got, I tell you guys what, Crypto Airborne has that medicated rash cream on lockdown. That's just kind of something that we always joke about here.
What's up, guys?
Well, thanks for joining us, man. We're just about to wrap things up, I think.
Yeah, I figured I'd just pop in and say hi. I was watching the DJ Crypto and Steve Ehrlich interview the last hour. Yeah,
Nice.
it's my number one holding, so I got to keep up to date with the Voyager platform.
Yeah, hear you there. But yeah, I mean, we'll try to get everybody else back on another live stream here in the future if you want. It was kind of like I sent out a bunch of invites, just thinking, okay, half the people probably won't be able to make it, and then everybody was able to make it. So we just had this awesome gathering tonight. So I'm so happy that all of you could make it. Thank you guys so much for being here. So with that said, I think we're going to wrap this live stream up just because we're over now 10, 12 minutes, and I just want to be respectful of everyone's time. I will throw a link in the description if you're interested in checking out Dark Horse Coins. I did see some people in the comments that wanted to connect with Elizabeth. So thank you, Elizabeth, for joining us. Marcos, Norris, Ray. I'm finally glad I got you on, man. And then Airborne, you didn't do squat. So I'm glad
I
you
know.
showed up anyways.
It's like the one live stream that like it's usually just us. I can't make it or whatever. Then you get like 10 people on.
Yeah. So a big
We'll
shout
do it
out
again.
to everyone watching. Thank you guys so much. I think we're gonna wrap this up here. I will link to everyone's socials here in the comments section and in the description as well, so you'll be able to connect with everybody if you want. So with that said, I think we're gonna go ahead and wrap this one up, and we'll see you guys on the next